Welcome back, friends. It's been a long while, I know, but welcome back to HTML tutorial for absolute beginners. In this tutorial, we're talking about four major HTML topics, which are the HTML elements, the HTML attributes, the HTML paragraphs, and HTML headings. Now, the first one is HTML elements. Now, what are elements? Elements are everything within the starting tag and the ending tag of a HTML tag. For instance, here we have the HTML tag, which we have the ending tag here, meaning that elements of this particular HTML tag ranges from everything starting from this heading tag down to this body tag. These are everything within the HTML tag. Or we have this p tag over here. This p tag, the element of this p tag is this word, this Italian word here. Same thing with this p tag. The element of this particular p tag is everything in this Italian word here. If it's this word text written here, it's Silversoft is a YouTube channel that helps people write their first code on web development. That's elements of those are elements of HTML tags. Now this div, for example, this div, this p tag, this body tag, this HTML tag, they are all known as the HTML tags or the tag name. The header is a tag name, the body is a tag name, while everything inside the tag, starting from the starting tag to the closing tag, is known as elements of the tag. Another thing you need to know about elements is that elements can be nested. Nested, what I mean by nested is that we have one inside another. For instance, this body is nested into this outer body, and this div is nested inside this body. This div is another type of tag, is a tag name that bears another tag name that now bears an element, the main element that it wants to display. Then what it means is that this p tag, this p that is the tag name of HTML tag, is nested in this div, whereas this div is nested in this body. This body is overall nested in this HTML tag. That makes it a nested element. Thank you. Alright then, friends, the next one we're going to talk about is the HTML attributes. Now, attributes, one thing we should know about attributes is that attributes provides additional information about elements in a tag, and every tag is eligible to have an attribute, whether a tag that has a closing, that has an ending tag, or a kind of tag that doesn't have. Every tag is eligible to have an attribute. Okay, for instance, let me take you back to our head. Our head, this meta tag, is an example of a single tag. It doesn't have an ending tag, but this is an attribute. An attribute comes in pairs in form of an attribute name and then an attribute value, or you just say the name and the value. For instance, let me use an image as an example. First, we have to get an image. I'll get one from my system, this boy.png. Let me copy it and then paste it in my code. Oops, I guess I have to paste it. Go to my desktop here, this is, and then I'll paste it. Now the picture of the boy is there. Again, I can now come here. This is the picture I want to display. Now, first thing I have to do is come here, use an image tag. Now this is an image tag. This source specifies is the name of the attribute. It specifies the source of the image, where the image is coming from, or sometimes it can be a URL pointing to an external website. And then this alternates in case the source, the image is not found, or you have a network issue and then the image was not able to load. It will show the alternate. Now this source attribute the name will be the value will be the URL of the boy, of the image. I don't say my boy.png, and then the alternate, I'll say an image of a boy. And then when I save my work, then let me go to my local server. Then yeah, this is the image. This is the image of the boy. Now what I was trying to explain is that this SRC is the source image. This SRC is the name of the attribute that holds this boy.png as a value, while this alternate is an attribute that holds this image of a boy as a value. Now we also have different types of value. I've talked about an anchor tag. For instance, we have the anchor element. This href is pointing to a value of a URL. This href is the name of the URL. You can say, let me say, okay, let me just give, for instance, name points the boy, the URL of the boy, and then I'll say, okay, I can now say visit an image, and then when I save my work and I go to my browser, the next this place, see the, if I click on it, it takes me to the URL of the website. Okay, now another type of when we talk about attributes, we have different types of attributes. The SRC is a kind of attribute. The href is a kind of attribute. All these different attributes name are attributes pointing to different values within the quotation mark. Now we have two ways to specify the URL of a URL in the source attribute. The first way is first type kind of URL is absolute URL. This absolute URL, you can say it points to an external website. For instance, I can say my anchor tag, I give my anchor tag, and then I'll say visit, let me say http then slash www.google.com, and then I'll say visit Google. Now this is an example of an absolute URL, because it's pointing to a different website that is not within my web page, it's not within what I'm doing here. While a relative URL is a kind of URL. For instance, you say, okay, a relative URL is an example of a relative URL is this one that points to this image in my website. This URL that points to the image in my website, I'm sure that when I click it, it changes the address. Instead of .html, it becomes boy.png, because it is pointing within my website. Whereas this URL, this visit Google, if you look at it under, if I hover on it, something shows under. Something just pops up within this place and says and writes the URL, whereas this one just writes the local host of our image and then points to the URL.